Always do it on my own, so I gotta get through it. And the only thing I know is to love what I'm doing. Never give up, never slow, till I finally prove it. Never listen to the no's, I just wanna keep moving. Keep my head up when I act, head up, that's a fact. Never looking back, I'ma keep myself on track. Keep my head up, staying strong, always moving on. Feel I don't belong, tell my thoughts to move along. Push myself to be the best, die with no regrets. Live with every breath, see my message start to spread. And I had so many dreams, then you hit your teens. Life ain't really what it seems, try to find out what it means. Always do it on my own, so I gotta get through it. And the only thing I know is to love what I'm doing. Never give up, never slow, till I finally prove it. Never listen to the no's, I just wanna keep moving. Yeah, I put out all this art, it's my only medicine. Yeah, everything I do, I'm just being genuine. Yeah, I'm sick of being screwed, feel my own adrenaline. Yeah, I do just what I do, and I hope you let me in, yeah. I'm grateful, oh yeah, able, oh yeah, I'm stable, oh yeah, no label, oh yeah, you know me, I have only a past, I'm lonely, but damn, I'm going to win. I don't want no fake love, I want the real stuff. Everybody listen up, cause I'll only say it once. I'm gonna show you all the path, if you want it bad. I'm gonna show you where it's at, yeah, how you can get it back. Yeah, cause I ain't never done, I'll be number one. Working hella hard until I get just what I want, yeah. Rises like the sun, yeah, fatal like a gun. Shooter's gonna shoot and I'm gonna shoot until I fall, yeah. Always do it on my own, so I gotta get through it. And the only thing I know is to love what I'm doing. Never give up, never slow, till I finally prove it. Never listen to the no's, I just wanna keep moving. Yeah, I put out all this art, it's my only medicine. Yeah, everything I do, I'm just being genuine. Yeah, I'm sick of being screwed, feel my own adrenaline. Yeah, I do just what I do, and I hope you let me in, yeah. Grateful, oh yeah, able, oh yeah, I'm stable, oh yeah, no label, oh yeah, you know me, I have only a past, I'm lonely, but damn, I'm going to win, yeah.
Hey, happy Sunday, or not Sunday, oh my gosh, it feels like a Sunday because I had yesterday off. Happy Saturday, happy Veterans Day. For any of you who may be a veteran, Sinner may be in here, or those of you who know veterans. And it is also my niece's birthday. She is 12 today. So we will be celebrating her birthday later today. How long to wait? I don't understand that question. Hey, Karen N, Cami, Jen T, Rowdy, Cool Gamer, Shauna. Hey, Natasha. There's Sinner. And Just Steph, hello. And I don't know, Just Steph, I'm not sure what your question is referring to. Hey, Cattywampus, how are you? Thank you, Natasha. I let her know earlier. Unfortunately, the gifts that I bought for her didn't come. So I'll have to give her a card and maybe some cash until her gifts come in. I kind of disappointed, but oh, somebody put 10 minutes. Was that me by accident? Hold on a second. I just changed it to 1 minute. Usually I do 5 minutes on my Bertha streams just because. But yeah, I saw Just Steph, so she shouldn't have to wait at all because she commented. So today's live, I have a few stories. I have an update on the Encino case that I talked about yesterday, where the homeless man who was looking for returnables, recyclables, found human remains. And so some information has come out on Sam Haskell, who is the suspected killer. He is being held on suspicion of murder. Unfortunately, the parents of his wife, as well as his wife, are still missing, as well as the 2 vehicles. And DNA results on the torso that was found are pending. So I did check that just before I went live, and there was no new information in regards to that. Hey, Just Steph. So been here a while, just don't like waiting 10 or 15 minutes after a notice. So Just Steph, what'll happen, just so that I'm not sure what happened, but I try with all of my lives, I try to give 30-minute notice. So you'll get a notice or a notification that I will be going live in 30 minutes. And then you should get a second notification that says I'm going live. And my intro is always 3 minutes, just so that it gives some people, if you're doing something, it gives them some time to join us. So that's how I have it set up. I'm not sure what the notice may have been that would cause you to have to sit for 10 or 15 minutes. But if it was the 30-minute notice, that would explain things. Yes. So I have a few stories that we are going to look at today. The main story is the shootout that occurred on an Alabama highway, Interstate 59, around 4:40 p.m. during rush hour traffic. And as I was finding information on that story, as well as the Encino case, there were 2 other stories that involved car accidents where people lost their lives. So definitely sad stories. So I do have the viewer discretion advised, because I did watch the videos of the first 2 stories we're going to talk about, and they're really horrific crashes. Horrific. And the first one that I'm going to show us is just heartbreaking. So, oh, good, Just Steph. I'm very glad to hear that I'm great. But just so that you understand, but one thing you should know about me that is I changed the time a lot. So I'll never be earlier than I say, but sometimes, well, not sometimes, quite often, more often than not, I will change the time to like 15 minutes later, 30 minutes later. But I try to give, for every live, I try to give at least 30 minutes notice, because, I just like to be courteous to people. But I do, unfortunately, change the time a lot. And you can ask any of those in here that with me, you just got to wing it. So, gotcha, Steph. Okay. Right. So some people have like a 10 to 15 minute introduction. Yes, I do not. Mine is always the same one. It's 3 minutes exactly. And I'm usually in chatting, or just doing some last minute things. But yeah, I agree. Like the 10 to 15 minute intro, it's pretty long. So we're going to get started here. So the first story is from Livingston, Texas. And when I saw this headline of the video, I was like, oh my gosh. And so it says Livingston woman and her 3 kids killed in crash. And this is from KHOU 11. And this is where I also got the second story we're going to be talking about, and just so much heartbreak in a day in this community. So for this, there is a GoFundMe, and I do have the link in the description. I will also put the link in chat. Give me 1 second here. Hey Marie, how are you?
A Livingston family is heartbroken after a woman and 3 of her children were killed in a terrible crash. A 4th child, a little girl, is also fighting for her life. It happened along Highway 146 in Polk County Thursday night. Anayeli Ruiz went to Livingston and spoke with family this evening. Anayeli.
Shemikia Brown was driving with her kids here along Highway 146. They were coming back from football practice when she crashed. Her family is now heartbroken. Family members are mourning tonight after they tell me this mother and 3 of her 4 kids were killed in a horrific wreck.
And so again, this took place in Livingston, Texas. And how tragic that you're coming home from football practice and you, for whatever reason, lose control of your car. And not only do you lose your life, but 3 of your children also lose theirs.
Polk County. These family photos they shared show the mom, Shemikia Brown, with her 13-year-old daughter, Kaya, 11-year-old son, Peyton, and 2-year-old son, Justice, who all died in the wreck. Her 6-year-old daughter survived and is now being treated in the Med Center. Video from the PolkCountyToday.com shows the impact. According to investigators, Shemikia was driving south on 146 when she lost control and crossed into oncoming traffic, hitting a pickup. The truck driver survived. Speaking with
Hey Spitfire, how are you? I agree. Super sad. Super sad.
Shemikia's partner tonight, she told me the kids were her world. And while they're not ready to speak on camera yet, she shared these photos of their family and the last.
And so here is mom, who, in my opinion, looks like a young adult herself. She looks very young in this picture. And again, her daughter, her 2-year-old, and her older son lost their lives, and the little girl is currently in the hospital.
Christmas picture they took together. Well, tonight the family has shared a GoFundMe account. They're left having to pay for 4 funerals, and also they have to pay for the medical expenses for the child that's still in the hospital. For more details, you can head to our website at khou.com. Near Livingston, Anayeli Ruiz, KHOU 11 News.
Oh my goodness, Genty. That's your aunt's friends. Hold on a second. I just messed up my phone. How the heck didn't I see this? And my aunt didn't text me. Be right back. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I am so sorry. Yes, and this accident did occur on, I believe it was the 9th, the 8th or 9th. This news story was from today. Okay, So again, the GoFundMe for the family is in the description, and I also will drop it once more in the chat. I know, like, definitely prayers. Hey, Sunnyside, how are you? So, okay, Jen says, okay, waiting on text back. Holy shit. Well, I'm very sorry that this is how you found out about your aunt's friends. Super sad. Yeah, definitely. So this next one is I just saw the headline. Again, I saw 6 dead, 2 others injured, and I didn't see any of the other part of the headline. And so I thought, oh gosh, here we go again, another mass shooting. And when I clicked on it, it was a car accident. And if those of you who have been with me for a bit, there was the crash in Minneapolis where the friends who were heading home after a night of fun, and they had a wedding the following day, were hit by a car that ran a red light, and all were killed. Here, you have 6 dead, 2 others injured after car sped through red light in downtown Houston. And that is a car that you see on your screen. It is upside down, and it is completely mangled. So again, I do have the viewer discretion advised. So again, these stories may be difficult for some viewers. Hey, Ripples in Time. Hey, AMAC, how are you?
News overnight, a deadly crash in downtown Houston, and police believe one of the drivers sped through a red light, causing the crash. At last check, HPD says 6 people are dead. We want to warn you, some of the images from this wreck may be hard to see. The crash happened around 2 o'clock this morning at the intersection of Fannin and Pierce Street. HPD says 4 people died at the scene, including the driver who they believe caused the crash. 2 people were rushed to the hospital and sadly died. At last check, 2 others are still alive. That's 8 people with only 2 survivors.
We have a total of 5 males deceased, 1 female deceased. One of the males appears to be homeless. And again, we're just looking to get more information.
Oh gosh. So again, they're not giving a lot of information, but based on what Ellie just said, that appears that one of them was homeless. I can only assume that he was in that area where the cars ended up, or where the collision occurred. And sadly, she didn't say whether the homeless man was a survivor or not, but how awful and how scary. Thank you, Genty. I appreciate that.
From what appears to be the survivor, one of the survivors of the SUV, and the other female who was transported is in, again, critical condition. She has life-threatening injuries.
It's not clear how the homeless man was killed this morning.
Okay, so there's the answer to my question. It's not clear how the homeless man was killed. But I will check in to see if any updates to the story occur. But again, six people lost their lives because of one person's poor decision.
We're working to get more details for you from Houston Police. Officers are at the hospital, we're told, interviewing the man who survived.
And I believe I have one more clip. Yes, I have one more clip of this story. And oops.
That we've been following in downtown Houston, a tragic investigation after police say 6 people were killed in a car crash.
It all happened at Fannin and Pierce just hours ago, but Houston police are still on the scene investigating. That's also where we find our TJ Parker. He joins us this morning with what investigators are saying. TJ?
Hey, good morning. Yeah, this is an awful scene here. And you said it, police said 6 people were killed in this crash, 5 men and a woman. They're still trying to figure out where they were coming from and really what led up to this crash. But you can see they are still out here. They've been out here since 2 this morning. A wrecker just showed up on scene to remove this SUV that you see here. This is on Fannin between Pierce and...
And so again, the SUV, based on the last report, is the driver who sped through the red light, and he also lost his life, but that is the driver who caused the collision's car.
And
That we've been following in downtown.
Oh, geez. I don't know why it does that. That drives me nuts.
a wrecker just showed up on scene to remove this SUV that you see here. This is on Fannin between Pierce and Gray. Now, we are being careful, of course, to show you of what we show you out here, because this is very much an ongoing investigation. This happened around 2 this morning. Police tell us a car was heading south on Fannin when it ran the red light at Pierce at a high rate of speed, hitting an SUV that had the green light. Police found a total of 4 people dead. 2 others were taken to the hospital, but also sadly died. One woman who was taken, though, is still in critical condition, and police are now talking to another man who was also taken to the hospital.
The eastbound vehicle on Pierce had the right-of-way, had a stale green light, and the other vehicle ran a red light, appears to be going very fast, high velocity.
So the vehicle that you're looking at right now that this wrecker is pulling up onto it is the vehicle that had the green light. Again, police are out here, have been out.
Okay, so that was my mistake. I thought they had said prior that it was the SUV of the car or of the driver who ran the red light, but it is the SUV that had the green light. So that was my mistake.
Out here since 2 this morning. They are working to clear the scene and again are trying to figure out where these people were coming from and what really led up to this crash. We're live downtown this morning. I'm TJ Parker, KPRC 2 News.
Heartbreaking investigation there, TJ. Thank you so much.
Yeah, Amy, I agree. Homeless man probably wasn't a passenger. He was just in the wrong place at the very wrong time. Emax says there have been homeless people here who have gotten hit by cars that were just there on the side. People are always in a rush to get to where they're going. I'm guilty myself, Sunnyside says. I'm always taking off as soon as the light turns green. That's one thing. As I've gotten older, I have become more patient, I guess. Granted, you know, having to drive the highway to get to work, I yell at people and complain for sure. But again, I want to get home safe instead of, you know, not at all. So as I've gotten older, I've become a bit more patient, and I'll even, instead of taking the highway home, because it's faster, I'll take the, quote, scenic route because there's less traffic and it's not really imperative that I get home that fast. So that is true, Amy. That is true. The driver could have fallen asleep behind the wheel. People don't get enough sleep these days. Absolutely. And I'm hoping, similar to what they had in the Minneapolis crash, that there may be video surveillance. It looked like there was a restaurant there or some type of business, so possibly they might have, security cameras, or hopefully there's something that that'll lead them to know exactly what happened. But again, tragedy all around. Of 8 people, 6 of them are dead. So definitely really sad. Hey, Muffin Mouse, how are you? Ripples in Time says, I wait and I am very cautious now and have been because of things like this. Absolutely. And sometimes, even if I get a green light, I will wait that second or two to make sure that no one else is going to try to run the red light, because you never know. You never know. So the next few, or I think I have three clips. The next 3 clips are some updates on the case that I had talked about yesterday in Encino, California, where a homeless man was looking for recyclables in a dumpster and came across what he believed to be human remains. So he immediately called 911. Law enforcement came and discovered what appeared to be a woman's torso. And so the first clip I have is just summarizing the case and what led up to it. And then the second 2 clips talk more about the husband of the woman and her parents who are missing, Sam Haskell.
The LAPD is concerned about the fate of 3 family members in connection with a gruesome discovery in the San Fernando Valley.
Now, the husband of one of those family members is charged with murder. KTLA's Eric Spellman live outside of the family home in Tarzana with more. Eric, good morning.
Morning, Jessica. The husband's name is Samuel Haskell IV, and he's been booked for murder. It could actually turn out to be as many as 3 murders, because not only did his wife disappear, so did his in-laws. Let me show you photos now of the 3 of them, and they haven't really been heard from for 3.
Okay, and so here is, just take those closed captions off for a second. So May Haskell, who is the wife, and her parents, Zhang Wang and Goshen Li. And they do have young children that we found out yesterday were at school, and law enforcement went to the respective school or schools to pick up the children who are now with family members.
Three days now. They disappeared from a home in Tarzana. Sam Haskell's wife, May Haskell, 37 years old, his 64-year-old mother-in-law, and his 72-year-old father-in-law. Nobody has heard from them in several days. Detectives believe it is possible all 3 were the victims of foul play.
All 3 are missing and unaccounted for. Attempts have been made to contact them by telephone, by cell phone. No answer. Same with May. She is unaccounted for.
On Tuesday evening, police went to the family home after landscapers reported seeing what looked like body parts stuffed in bags outside. When officers got there, the bags were gone. But the next...
Oh my gosh, I don't remember hearing that in the stories yesterday. Landscapers reported seeing what looked like body parts in bags. So they did call law enforcement, but when law enforcement arrived, the bags were gone. Holy. Hey, Miss Christie, how are you?
Today, a homeless man searching for recyclables found a female torso in a bag in a dumpster in Encino, 5 miles away from the Haskell home in Tarzana. A car detectives saw on surveillance video at the scene led them back to the home, where they found something very, very disturbing inside. blood and other clues consistent with a killing and dismemberment.
Ugh.
That torso that was discovered in Encino, the coroner does not have a positive ID yet, but detectives now believe the remains are either those of May Haskell or her mother. However, based on what they learned, they were able to make an arrest. In jail now is Samuel Bond Haskell IV. He is 35 years old. Detectives arrested him at the Topanga Mall. He's been
The Topanga Mall, and let me just take closed captioning off. So that's a much younger photo of him, because now he's definitely older. He doesn't look like these photos at all, in my opinion. And Jen T says, okay, my aunt said they haven't talked for 2 years. She had no clue, but I guess they stopped being friends, which is why I wasn't texted. Oh, that is sad. I mean, that does happen, and still very sad. Still very sad.
booked for murder and is being held now without bail. Haskell turns out to be the son of a famous Hollywood agent and producer. The elder Sam Haskell once represented stars like George Clooney, Whoopi Goldberg, and Dolly Parton. Detectives still have a lot of work to do on their investigation. They're looking for 2 SUVs that may be connected to the crime in some way. One is a white VW Tiguan, license plate 9ANC890. The other is a white Nissan Pathfinder, license plate 7FRM190. Meanwhile, back in the Tarzana neighborhood where this horrible crime or crimes were committed, people are in a state of shock. There's no information about what may have motivated what happened. Neighbors say May Haskell was always very social, friendly, and well-liked.
Right now, I'm starting to miss her, and just trying to process it, but I think it'll take a while to get used to that.
Sam and May Haskell have 3 elementary school-age children. They've been located. They're safe. They're now staying with other family members. Meanwhile, Sam Haskell, the 4th, goes to court for the first time on Monday to go before a judge. We'll send it back to you.
Okay, so that was just a recap, and I actually learned some things from that I didn't know yesterday. So now we get more into Sam Haskell, and people have been looking at his social media, and this definitely made me think a little bit. So before I give my thoughts, I'll let you make your own.
Now turning to that gruesome discovery on Wednesday in Encino, a torso of a female found in a dumpster. Tonight, frightening new details emerging surrounding the home of the man who's been arrested. Eyewitness News reporter Michelle Fisher joining us now live in studio with more. Michelle?
Mark, as investigators say they continue to look into many leads, a timeline is coming into focus here, with police first getting notified Tuesday that something was amiss at the Haskell family home.
The night before a woman's torso was found inside an Encino dumpster, officers were dispatched to the home of Samuel Haskell and his wife, May Lee, for reports of a possible dead body.
Yes, possible DD 4115 Coldstream Terrace, 4115 Coldstream Terrace. Monitor comments. PR 79 in front of Topanga.
The person reporting the crime calling from outside the LAPD Topanga station.
So the radio call November 7th at about 5:30 p.m. Involved a suspicious bag that possibly contained human remains. When the officers responded, nothing was located.
The LAPD hasn't confirmed details on who made that initial call, but say when they returned to the home Wednesday, they found blood inside. What investigators did not find were missing family members May Lee and her parents.
The following morning, when I understood that she and her parents were missing, I mean, my heart dropped. Completely shocked.
Samuel Haskell IV is being held without bail on suspicion of murder, although no formal charges have been filed. Haskell IV, the son of Hollywood executive Sam Haskell Sr., who resigned as the CEO of the Miss America organization after a 2017 email scandal. The suspect's mother telling Eyewitness News tonight the family did not have a comment on the gruesome allegations her son is now facing.
And I'm curious because he was being held on suspicion of murder, but they said he's facing a judge on Monday. I'm curious whether or not charges will be filed against him.
And tonight, DNA results from that dismembered body are still pending. Investigators also still looking for two vehicles, a white Volkswagen Tiguan and a white 2014 Nissan Pathfinder.
And it makes you wonder, too, where are the vehicles? So this gives a little bit of an idea of who Sam Haskell is. This shows some of his social media and some of his posts, which are interesting. That will be the arraignment. Gotcha, Shauna. Thank you.
Disturbing new information coming to light about a Tarzana man at the center of a grisly murder investigation and what led to the discovery of a human torso in a dumpster.
Police say they found new blood and evidence of a crime scene that happened inside of the home that was belonging to the son of a well-known Hollywood agent. KTLA's Carlos Herrera joins us live in Tarzana with the very latest from there. Carlos.
Good morning, and just a bizarre case here this morning. Mystery as well. May Haskell and her two parents are still missing this morning, several days after the investigation began here at their Tarzana home. There are three sons also now with family, but this morning we're learning more about the primary suspect in this shocking case. Take a look.
Like my resume says, unhappy, bitter, resentful. Now I'm
So unhappy, bitter, resentful. That's what he says his resume says about him.
consistently never going to stop drinking. Shouts out to the waiter at the restaurant above Nordstrom's for just like completely burning out of my filet. Like, what kind of a monster are you, homie?
This is 35-year-old Samuel Haskell IV. In several social media postings, he's rambling about everything from feeling resentful and bitter to expressing his disappointment over burnt steak. The son of a former high-powered Hollywood talent agent, now the center of this shocking case, a bizarre murder mystery. Haskell lived in this 6-bedroom home in Tarzana with his wife May, in-laws, and 3 sons until police say 37-year-old May and her parents disappeared. Haskell now suspected of killing his wife after a woman's torso stuffed in a bag was found in a dumpster a little more than 6 miles away from their home. Investigators believe the body parts belonged to May and say surveillance video from the dumpster location led them to her husband. Next-door neighbor Al-Banami was a close friend of May's. She last saw her about a week earlier driving her kids to school. She is distraught over her disappearance.
She was dedicated to her boys. They were definitely her entire life. Outwardly, they didn't seem to, be very warm with each other or affectionate or have like some great marriage, but I did not know of there being any issues.
Although police haven't identified the remains.
And it makes me wonder because they keep showing the garage and investigators or crime scene investigators inside, that possibly that is where a lot of the evidence was located. And I agree, he definitely gives me weird vibes. Did he say that the waiters cooked the food? I totally missed that.
Yet detectives say evidence leads them to believe that the remains inside that duffel bag were of May and her parents, who were also last seen about a week ago in one of the family's SUVs. Samuel Haskell IV, again, behind bars this morning. He's being held without bail as well. This morning, the hunt for more human remains continues. That's according to detectives. Again, they're asking for any helpful tips this morning. Phone calls, surveillance video, in hope to shed more light on this case. We'll send it back to you guys.
So just a terrible, terrible situation. And I hope that they are able to find May and her parents and give their families closure to at least know, where they are and possibly what happened and why. Oh, Shauna, okay. I totally missed that he was talking about the waiter for the burnt steak. I just assumed that he was talking about the chef. It completely went over my head. Yeah. And I'm curious. I'm gonna just look really quick to see if I'm sure his TikTok is completely wiped now. But I'm just curious if yeah, I'm pretty sure his social media is yeah, I don't see anything. I'll have to look a little bit more later. So, hey Mick, how are you? So, the last story is the thumbnail for this live, which is a stolen car leads to forced shot on Interstate. A woman has been arrested, and those who were shot are also considered suspects. So I think we're going to read this article first. And this is from AL.com. Stolen car led to shootout that injured 4, shut down I-59. Birmingham police say an alarming scene. And again, this happened yesterday at around 4:40 p.m., which was at the height of rush hour. So again, Birmingham police respond to a person shot on I-59 at Route 20 near the Bush Boulevard exit. And this is just cars, backed up because they shut down the highway. A stolen car led to a shootout between two groups of people on Interstate 59 southbound in Birmingham during rush hour traffic, left 4 people injured and hundreds stuck in traffic. Multiple calls started coming into Birmingham's 911 center about 4:40 p.m. One of the callers said a person was on the ground outside of a vehicle with a gunshot wound. That location is on I-59 southbound near Bush Boulevard. A second victim was then also found nearby on the interstate. Police then learned at least 2 gunshot victims were dropped off at the emergency room at UAB Hospital. The victims who showed up at the hospital are reported to have non-life-threatening injuries. And there's another photo of the scene. Birmingham Fire and Rescue Service Lieutenant Katina Williams said firefighters transported 2 males from the interstate to UAB Hospital. Both of their injuries are believed to be life-threatening. Officers reported numerous shell casings on the roadway, calling the interstate, quote, a crime scene. The Alabama State Troopers said all I-59 lanes near the 120-mile marker are shut down and will be for an undetermined amount of time. Officer Truman Fitzgerald said the initial investigation indicates that group of people saw what they believed to be their vehicle that was stolen from another city and began to follow them. The group stopped and a shootout ensued. 1 female is in custody. Everyone shot at UAB Hospital is a suspect at this point. Every person who was shot had some involvement in the initial incident. Fitzgerald said he doesn't know how many shots were fired, but said it was an alarming scene to hundreds of people. He noted the danger posed with a shootout on one of the busiest interstates in Alabama during rush hour on a Friday afternoon. It speaks to the mentality that so many in our community have. If they think they're wronged, they're going to take it in their own hands. This could have been handled so much different. About 6:30 p.m., a wreck happened in the northbound lanes adjacent to the shooting scene, so traffic is snarled in both directions. And Bama Beauty had mentioned that earlier in a comment, and I tried to find more about the accident, but was unable to. So, All right, so I have a quick video, and then we do have the press conference that law enforcement held. We'll take a listen to that, and then I'll give some last thoughts before I bid you all adieu.
We are on top of that breaking news for you tonight. Multiple people shot right along I-59 near the Ensley exit.
The police have shut down a massive stretch of the interstate as they try to figure out exactly what happened. WVTM 13's Aaron Llewellyn is live for us at the scene. Aaron, what are police telling you right now?
Yeah, right now we don't have a whole lot of details, but what we do know is that there are multiple people that are shot. Right now, we are on the overpass on Anderson Avenue that is overlooking I-59 South. Now, if you can see, there are multiple cars backed up. It is backed up for a long time. Now, you can see, from what we can see, that there are at least 4 cars that are involved in this scene here. Our officers are still investigating, trying to figure out what happened, but we can also see that there are some markings on the ground with what looks to be like clothes that they are.
And so, again, when I first heard shootout, I thought immediately of the Wild Wild West, where you would have, 2 people standing like 100 yards from each other, facing each other. And, when somebody said go, they pulled out their guns, and whoever shot first, like just complete craziness. And especially on a highway, which this appears to be a 4-lane highway in both directions, like just complete insanity. I agree, Spitfire. So many more people could have been hurt. Hey, Brandon, how are you?
Are looking at and observing. Now, if you turn this way, there has also been some officers that have been looking in the woods. We are close to a residential area, and so we've seen that officers have been kind of casing the area, looking for any other evidence over here in the trees as well. Now, again, traffic is backed up for a long time. There is nothing moving going westbound towards Tuscaloosa. Now, they do have that street blocked, or they do have that section of the highway blocked off, and it is a pretty good portion of the highway. Now, again, on the other side, you can see that things are moving pretty pretty freely. When we first got here, traffic was backed up on the other side just a little bit, but that part of the highway has opened back up. Again, we see that there are at least 4 vehicles that are involved in the scene here, and officers are still investigating, trying to figure out what happened. You can see that they are measuring kind of how far this evidence is, where we have those markers and the clothes on the ground from the edge of the highway. Now, they are still looking and investigating. Now, we will continue to give you these updates as we get them. We are waiting for police to get to the scene to let us know what is going on and give us any updates that they have. But for right now, we are live in Birmingham. Aaron Llewellyn, WVTM 13.
Okay, so I now have the police press conference.
Our officers and detectives are on the scene of multiple people shot on I-59 South. At around 4:40 p.m., West Precinct officers began receiving a call that there was a shootout on the interstate. The initial address our officers were given was I-59 South at the 20th Street Ensley exit. Our officers arrived on the interstate, and just before the Bush Boulevard exit, they observed 2 vehicles that had been shot into. Officers observed 2 adult males who were shot. They were on the interstate. Officers observed an adult female on the interstate, and they actually took her into custody as a person of interest. As our officers were on the scene trying to render aid to the 2 shot, we learned that 2 additional adult male victims showed up at UAB Hospital, and they were shot in this incident. We believe one of the males that was on the scene when our officers arrived on the interstate has life-threatening injuries, and I was actually updated that a second male on the interstate may have also suffered life-threatening injuries. Here's what the preliminary investigation has revealed. We believe that, let's let this.
I was gonna say, I don't know what's going on in the background, but lots of noise back there. Hey, Kanuga, how are you? Long time. Brandon says, I heard sirens and cops flying somewhere. Guy killed his mom and her boyfriend out east. So scary. Oh my gosh.
Sound good? Now the fire trucks. Here's what we believe caused all this. The preliminary investigation has revealed the following. We believe that a group of individuals saw their stolen vehicle or alleged stolen vehicle, and they began following that vehicle. From all the facts that I've gathered from our officers, we believe that this took place in a neighboring city. And the events transpired in our city on our interstate. And this party seized their possible stolen vehicle, and they took it upon themselves to confront this group. A shootout ensued between both groups, and 4 adult males were shot. From everything that I've gathered from our officers and the detectives, we believe that everyone who is shot has something to do with the incident, whether they were the party who thought they saw their stolen vehicle, or they were a party in the alleged stolen vehicle. We have no persons who are not involved in the incident that have been shot. And right now, again,
And that in itself, like Spitfire said, that in itself, I think is amazing because so many more people could have been injured or hurt or affected by this. The fact that no one else was hurt from these two groups shooting at each other is amazing.
in 4 adult males shot on the interstate. This all started because someone tried to confront a group in their possible stolen vehicle. She was not hurt that I know of. She wasn't.
It was 4:40 p.m. on a busy interstate here in our city. Just to know that this type of violence took place when so many other people, bystanders, innocent people just driving, to wherever they're going, could have been in the area. What do you have to say about that?
What we would have to say is it speaks to the breakdown in our society that we have. Regardless of the reasoning for what happened, you have a crowded interstate at 4:40 on a holiday, and you choose to get into a shootout on the interstate of all places. And
I agree with this guy. So he looks like a detective to me. I'm not exactly sure, what his role is. But again, I agree with him. This indicates a breakdown of society because these two groups thought it fitting to be involved in a shootout on the highway during rush hour. Like they were the only two groups on the planet. Like just complete ridiculousness. Arrogance. Actually, I think arrogance is a more proper term for this situation.
the issue lies with we have such an on-site mentality going on in our community where everyone wants to handle their issues right then and there. If this was the case that this party saw their possible stolen vehicle, all they had to do was call 911. Our officers live for stuff like that. That's what we go through the training. That's why we put on that uniform and that bulletproof vest to be put in those situations. But here you have someone that possibly took it upon themselves to confront a group, and now here you have a shootout on the interstate at 4:40 p.m.
You say a woman was taken into custody. Any of those 4 males that were shot also expected to be held responsible, arrested for this?
Hey, Cray Cray, this was 4:40 p.m. yesterday. So it was November 10th. Yeah, a little bit like Usher, a little bit.
That's a great question. Everybody's a suspect right now. If you're shot in UAB right now, you're a suspect.
Do you have an age range for any of these suspects that you're able to give us?
I saw 1 or 2 victims. They appear to be young males. So I would say anywhere between, let's just say adult males, because we don't have exact ages, but I know at least one of the victims is a young adult male. One second, let's wait for the.
Still waiting.
Yes, ma'am, Maddie.
Yes. Do you have a breakdown of what vehicle the victims and the woman were from? Were they in the allegedly stolen vehicle? Were they in the other car?
We believe that a group saw their stolen vehicle and they began following it, and somehow the groups stopped a few feet away from the bridge that separates I-59 South and Bush Boulevard, the Inslee exit, and I believe that's Arkadelphia. Anybody that knows this area knows there's a walking bridge over I-59 South. They stopped pretty much under that bridge, and a shootout ensued on the interstate.
Are you able to give us the conditions of the two people at UAB Hospital?
We have 4 people total at UAB Hospital. From what I'm being told, every victim that was transported by our Birmingham Fire and Rescue personnel is life-threatening. The 2 adult males who went by private vehicle at UAB, I'm told they're non-life-threatening. So our officers came into contact with 2 adult males on the interstate, and I spoke with the dispatcher. She initially said one of the males was life-threatening, but from speaking to our officers, they told me that both males are life-threatening.
And the ones transported in private vehicles, do you believe that private vehicle was a stolen vehicle?
No, ma'am. The alleged stolen vehicle was actually shot into and disabled, and we watched that go out on the back of a wrecker.
Oh my gosh. So it appears, this is based on what the officer just said, that the people who were following shot into what they thought was their stolen vehicle, disabled it, and it was recorded by a wrecker. A big rig, I'll just call it.
Was she in the stolen vehicle?
No, ma'am. She was, good question. We believe that she may have been in the party with the party that saw the stolen vehicle.
And the 2 men that y'all found on the scene, were they in the other vehicle or the stolen vehicle?
We believe they may have been in the possible stolen vehicle.
Okay. And then what city was this vehicle stolen from?
We don't want to cast too much of a cloud over that nearby city, especially without speaking to their chief and their personnel, but we'll just say a city near our East Precinct.
Still in Jefferson County?
Yes, ma'am. Still in Jefferson County.
To have a better understanding of the cars, there was a car and an SUV that's black. Which?
The black SUV that y'all saw, or you may have footage being taken off, that is the alleged stolen vehicle. You know, it's in the public's view, it's on the interstate. So everyone saw it. That is the vehicle that started all this.
Can you talk to us just about the scene here for investigators? We saw some investigators going into the woods here, obviously that car. I mean, talk about what they're having to deal with the scene right in the middle of the interstate.
Yes, ma'am. So on this scene, during this shootout, you have officers who began receiving reports that some of the males that were involved ran off from the interstate. And our investigators right now are canvassing the area to see if possibly they ditched a gun, see if they ditched additional evidence, and just to give the public a real life view of what's going on. You have hundreds to thousands of vehicles that have not been able to get to where they need to because the interstate has been shut off for an hour or 2. So you have a Friday night in our city where our people can't get to where they need to.
How long do you expect the interstate to be closed?
I don't want to give a time frame because investigations could last hours, and we have shell casings on the ground. We have some of the vehicles are just now being towed away, and then our investigators are still canvassing the area to see if there was evidence left behind.
Do you know how many shots were fired?
I don't. However, I was told there was multiple shots fired. It was a large shootout.
Are you able to just kind of speak to what this female might be charged with, considering there were probably a whole bunch of people not even involved in this situation that were around when these shots were fired? Could she face any charges in relation to this happening around people who had nothing to do with what was going on?
Before I know her exact involvement in the shooting, I don't want to speak prematurely. However, what we'll do is once the interviews conclude and our detectives have a good idea of what took place, we'll put all that out in a media release.
Do you know if it was 2 adult males in each car?
I was told there was multiple males in each car.
Oh, so could there be more people in the cars that were shot?
There could be, and that's another issue that we run into on these scenes. People flee the scene, and that's just another thing that our investigators have to deal with.
Was anybody injured not related to the shooting, either by a wreck or someone getting hit by a car?
Don't know about the wreck part, but from everything I gathered from our officers, no person inside of a car that was not involved in the incident was struck by gunfire. There was no, I hate using the word, there was no innocent bystanders shot tonight.
Which is amazing. Like I said before, completely amazing.
Great question. The state troopers have been phenomenal at helping us get the interstate blocked off so our investigators have enough space to investigate. So they have been providing support with traffic and putting the word out there to the public that this area is going to be shut off on the interstate.
Will you be rerouting the people who are on 59 South right now?
Yes, ma'am. We're trying our best to reroute everyone. And again, I wish I could give a time frame on how long the interstate will be shut down, but investigations, they have really no time frame. It could be hours, it could be shortly. There's no time frame.
Okay, so the last thing I want to show you in regards to this story. So again, for those of you who may just be coming in, we are discussing a shootout between two groups that took place on Interstate 59 in Alabama. And so this is local reporter Oliviana Calmes from WBRC. So she had a few photos that I wanted to show you, and then she does have a short video as well. And so this SUV, this is the SUV that the officer was saying was the alleged stolen vehicle. So again, he said this vehicle was shot into and disabled. And at that point, that is when a shootout occurred between two groups, and no innocent bystanders, drivers, etc. were injured. And here they just have a photo of police, it looks like. And she also had a video, just a quick. And so you can see, I thought they might have had one lane open, but these cars aren't moving. So I'm thinking that possibly, I don't know where the other car is, but it doesn't look like that traffic was moving at all. So that was just another quick video. Yep, and that's all she had. So that is all the stories that I have for you today. Again, a lot of sadness going on in this world and a lot of craziness, as we saw in this last story. So I did see some comments I wanted to look at. Oh, blank screen. The likes are back down to 143. So YouTube must have snatched them. Interesting. So that's 2,000 likes that didn't belong. And I think likes, I don't know how likes really affect your channel, but I believe the more likes you have, the more chance you have of being included in the algorithm. I don't really know. But yeah, the subs will be starting soon. Google had said December is when inactive Google emails are going to be deleted. So that would affect YouTube subs. Yeah, I agree. Spitfire makes me wonder what kind of person I am. I never think like these people. Right. Like to just start shooting at each other on the interstate, like just I find it arrogant, irresponsible, like just Oh, I agree, Brandon. I often wonder where these folks get these ideas to hurt so many. Guess I have a huge heart. Yeah, I mean, have I hurt people in my past? Absolutely. Mostly with words. I've never hurt someone physically. Never. Oh my gosh, Spitfire. They just did a story about my friend on Snap. She was killed for her baby. That is so sad. I didn't realize how big of a story that it was until the producers got a hold of me. Her kids wanted me to talk to them. That is so sad. Oh, that's true, Sinner. A lot like the biker shootout in Red River not long ago. 3 passed and 5 were injured. I remember that. Oh, hey, Brandon. 88 degrees. That is a nice day. Here in New York, it is, let me see. I haven't checked the thing. It is 41 degrees out, and it feels like 34. So it's a little bit chilly. So, Brandon, there is a site. I came upon it by accident, but you can buy likes. I'm trying to think. You can buy views, you can buy subs, you can buy likes. And it was like maybe $100 for 5,000 subs. It wasn't very expensive at all. I would never do that because it's lame. And it's not that important. I mean, obviously I want to grow my channel and have a lot of subs, but at the same time, I'm not going to spend money to make myself look better than I am. Like, that's just dishonest. And like I said, it's lame. Oh, 71 Center. That's like perfect weather. Oh, look up Kimmy Hardy. It happened in Iowa. I will do that. Kimmy Hardy. Oh, right here. Keokuk? Is it Keokuk or Keokuk? Oh, yeah. Kimmy Hardy faked pregnancy for months before murdering a mom and stealing her baby. Oh, my gosh. I'm going to read that after. And I don't want to show the video because it's from Oxygen and they'll definitely copyright strike me. Yeah. So I want to thank everybody for being here. I wasn't planning on doing this live, but when I saw I got a notification last night about this shootout, I was like, what in the world is going on in this world? And so as I was gathering information on that, I also found those other stories. So definitely keep all of their families in your thoughts. And, you know, I'm sad to see so many sad stories every day. It definitely, you know, hurts my heart. But I will be live later tonight. Hopefully Words on Stream will be working again. But if not, we do have a drawing game that is just as fun, if not more so, because I don't know who's drawing the pictures, but they are not very good at it, and it makes for some really great laughs. So that I have scheduled for, shoot, I don't even remember what the time that I scheduled it for is. Let me take a look. 7 p.m. But again, depending on, I am doing birthday fun for my niece. So that time may change. It will not be earlier. If I do have to change it, it will most likely go to 8 p.m. if not 9. I don't see it going that late. But we will be doing some games tonight because we're looking to beat level 20. Amy says, do a video on a solved cold case from my hometown, Kathleen Flynn. All right, let me just Google that really quick. Kathleen Flynn. And that was in... Oh, here it is. Wow, 33 years. Wow. Okay, so I'm definitely going to look into that. That sounds really interesting. Thank you for sharing that, Amy. I'm going to check that out. Oh, yeah, AMAC, that would be fun. We could do trivia after. Yeah, I agree, Blank. It's a waste of money to do that. And I'm with you, Sunnyside. I'd rather buy a Whopper myself. I mean... Oh. Spitfire says they dug up the first baby in the National Cemetery. It was a box with no baby. It could have been, I mean, it could have been disintegrated, depending on how old it is, because, so this is kind of getting off on a tangent, but back in the late 90s, I worked on excavating an almshouse cemetery, and because in New York State, when you are doing construction, if you come upon human remains, it's probably the same in every state. If you come upon human remains, you have to report it to law enforcement. So long story short, it ended up being an almshouse cemetery that had been long forgotten. And so I had the opportunity to work on the cemetery where I helped excavate human remains, bones. And back then, so this was the mid to late 1800s, a lot of, actually 99.9% of the caskets were wood. And so while they were visible, they were quite disintegrated. And a lot of the graves that we excavated that had, they were babies because the wooden caskets were small. So you knew it was a baby or some of them for a child. Their bones were pretty much gone because of time. So that could be what happened. And I have photos from that. I will have to upload some of the pictures from that because it's definitely in my top 5 experiences of my life so far, including, when I went to South Africa for a semester. So, definitely, Spitfire, if you like those kind of things, I mean, that's what I went to school for initially, was forensic anthropology. And that's how I was able to get this job on the cemetery. So thank you, Karen. I appreciate that. Oh, Scorpio. Doctors are drawing them, I figured out. Yeah. And Sinner had brought it up yesterday, and Brianna was talking about it. The cow, it was like a cow being sucked in by some type of time portal. I'm not sure what that was, and I still wonder, but we'll probably never find out. So, yeah, blank screen. So let me look. 1986. Because, well, in this article was from 2019. So this man killed an 11-year-old girl in 1986, and he was arrested in June 2019. So I'm definitely going to take a look at that, and I might do either a short live, or I don't really like doing videos because, like I said, I always screw up, and plus I like talking to y'all. So thank you, Amy, for that, because I'm definitely going to take a look at it. Oh, I will definitely, Spitfire. Yeah, what was it? What did I say again? 1989? 1986. I was 8. Yep, I was 8 at the time. Oh. What? A YouTuber with actual real life experiences? What sorcery is this? I know. And okay, so here's a really messed up story I'm going to tell you about the cemetery. But we worked really long hours. It was hotter than Hades. And so, and we're still trying to find the picture because, mind you, back then, cell phones weren't really what they are now. They, you know, they weren't smartphones. They, I had my Razor. That was like, you had to you still had to type, you had to hit a button 3 times to get a certain letter. 1 letter at a time. And so 2 friends of mine that I had made on site, it was towards the end of our job, and there was after we excavated the human remains, like, we had to carefully take them out. We put them, in, after we photographed, measured, did all that stuff, we would remove them and bring them to the lab where they were cleaned and given a proper burial. Well, we were so delusional one day because we were exhausted, we were hot, we were tired. We each took a turn lying in one of the empty graves and took our pictures. So, we each had a picture. And not one of us knows where those photos went. So, they're somewhere. They're somewhere. But hey, Phyllis, how are you? Oh, the cell phones with the antenna. Yeah, I had my first cell phone was the ones I just think of, Saved by the Bell, like the big clunky one. It almost looked like a walkie-talkie. That was my first cell phone, and all you could do was call. Like, it was like an emergency phone. That's it. You could call on it, but it wasn't really like what we have now. It's amazing how technology has, how far it's come, for sure. All right, y'all. Well, that was a fun little tangent I took there. So I hope you all have a great rest of your morning or day. I hope to see you later for Words on Stream. And if Words on Stream doesn't work, we will be playing Guess the Picture because Words on Stream is being difficult. But we would love to have you. It's super fun, even though it's frustrating, and yeah, it'll be fun. So with that being said, have a great rest of your day. And until next time, I will see you all on the flip side.